Hey Josh, it's Saturday, and like I said yesterday, both of my camera batteries died, so that's why I'm making my video today. So first off, to answer your question from the week, we briefly talked about it yesterday, last night, but for the most part, a lot of the some of the changes are pretty fun, pretty cool. I mean, I was going on about how much I really like the Mandalorians now that their pistols work in melee as well, which I mean didn't affect too much, especially in our game last night. But it was still nice. It was still fun. Um, but yeah, the points, like having no points changes pretty much at all is a little upsetting because there's a lot of stuff that needs beef or either their abilities need to match or need to get to the point of their points, or some of them need their points to go up based on what they can do. That made no sense, I'm sure, but it made sense in my head. So, I don't know. Lando looks fun. Kallus looks fun. Cassian and Jyn had pretty much no changes whatsoever. I think Jin's cards, most of them do like the exact same thing. They're just named different. But yeah, with making them just flat out operatives and just immediately giving them infiltrate rather than making them special ops, it's kind of I guess I don't know. But also giving Cassian field commander, you basically just got the best of everything with him. But I don't know. Anyway. But yeah, so something that I want to talk about briefly this week. For a little bit of context, you might have seen this post on one of the Star Wars subreddits. I think it's one of the meme pages. Somebody made a post talking about after RFK's latest stupid thing that he said about ultra autism or whatever it was. I don't remember. I know that wasn't what he actually said, but basically that. From what I understand, it was basically something along the lines of no adults have autism. Anyway, so someone made the post or made a meme of that and of the scene of Han Solo saying that's not how the Force works, but instead that's not how autism works. And one of the comments that I saw in there was saying something along the lines of, don't they know that we don't want politics in Star Wars? And I was just like, excuse me? No politics in Star Wars? The movie series that is entirely about politics? So I want to talk about politics and pop culture, because it got me to thinking, because I was also talking with some people about, I don't remember what season of Doctor Who it was, but it got a little more political in there, and they were saying that, like, I really liked Doctor Who until it got political, and I was just like, it always kind of was, but that's beside the point. But yeah, I mostly want to talk about, like, I feel like people don't, I don't know how I want to phrase this, I guess. I'm still figuring that out. I'll figure it out as I'm making the video, as I tend to do. But yeah, so it's just like the fact that people can look at things like Star Wars, like Doctor Who, and just the fact that like people in general can think that anything in pop culture will not have some political bias to it, I feel like just kind of misses the point, in my opinion, because especially with things like Star Wars, because the entire prequel trilogy is about how democracy becomes a dictatorship. That's have something to unpack at a later point, but yeah, just like, I was talking with some of my friends as well about it, and one of them was just, I don't remember exactly how he said it, but he was just like, it baffles me that people can think that any form of pop culture will be completely free of any political biases, and like if you're trying to watch something and ignore the political or like taking into account the political nature of the time that it was made. So like, for example, the season of Doctor Who that I was talking to the other people about, I believe was pretty soon after Brexit happened. So there was that. Obviously, the original trilogy of Star Wars was protesting. It was essentially protesting against the Vietnam War. Even though, and then the prequels were about, like I said, how a democracy turns into a dictatorship. The dialogue's not great in the prequels, obviously, but the ideas are still there, especially throughout Clone Wars. Hi, Luna. Luna is investigating the camera. Anyway, especially during the Clone Wars season, I remember during season, it was in season 6. I think it was originally supposed to be season 5 because production order was all sorts of weird with the Clone Wars. Production order and release order were not the same. So there was a arc in the Clone Wars, I forget the name of it, but it was talking about the banking clans and kind of explaining how Palpatine got control of them, and I actually skipped that during my most recent rewatch, and then I heard how good it actually was, and so I ended up going back and watching it, and yeah, it is interesting to see like just how understandable a lot of the stuff is, I guess, how relatable, that's the word I was looking for, because I mean, especially right now, again, that's all I'm going to be saying about that. But yeah, just the fact that, like, you just have to take into account the time that pop culture is created, and it's always going to reflect the nature of what's going on in the real world, and I feel as though if you try and ignore that, then you're missing the point of why it was created in the first place. Is kind of the long and the short of, I guess that's my thesis, so, I guess that'll do for this video. I might have more thoughts about this at a later point. I actually just woke up from a bit of a nap here, so my brain's still catching up with me. But yeah, so that'll do for this video. So Josh, my question for you is, what are your feelings on politics in... No, that's not quite what I wanted to ask. What's your favorite representation of politics and pop culture relating to modern day? So that'll do it for this video. So Josh, I will see you on Tuesday. Later, bro.